Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be taking a first look at Gold Mythic Trader, who is going to be a premier wheel character coming to RTS. He is also going to be, of course, another member of the New World Order Allegiance, another character that will get you closer to getting that maxed out Titan as a mythic character. Now, if you see visually, he is looking pretty cool. Gonna be honest, on the right hand side, I think this is definitely a visual improvement over the S-Class Trader, and on the left hand side we can see the art that we saw shared previously, and with the doggo as well. He is a tough character. We tried to go through the predictions on the traits, and it did look like he was holding more of a tough sort of style weapon, and it looks like a shotgun, and we will check that out later on in the video. But if we check out his stats as a Limit Break 3 level 720 character, he has got 16,970 attack, 16,471 defense, and 16,471 HP. This is of course without any lieutenant system. That is going to raise that right up. That is the max level 720, until you get your personal boosts in there. He is of course tough, like we talked about before, and he is of course going to be a controller that I think a lot of people assumed that was going to be the case just based on what we saw of S-Class Trader. He is going to be a mythic character, of course, and another character to join the New World Order Allegiance, making it, I believe, the fourth that we've seen so far, other than the mythic trial itself. Now, first of all, we'll go across and check out his Adrenaline Rush, and it is called The Big Deal. It is a 66 AP cost rush, deal 400% damage to a line of enemies. Those enemies get impair and daze for 2 turns. One other New World Order Allegiance member gets 100% AP. Now, there's a lot going on here. 400% damage to a line of enemies isn't too bad, and if you can see already, he is a leader, so he's going to have quite a lot of boosts from 1535s potentially as well. There can of course be boosts from other things on the kit, for instance strong attacks, alert attacks, and there is of course other characters that can boost damage when it comes to buffs, so this can easily be amplified up more. The fact that those characters get impair and daze means that even if you don't take them out, they're going to be very hard controlled. That is, no rush, no signature move, just basic attacks. Now, the last bit is really interesting. One other New World Order Allegiance member gets 100% AP. Now, depending on the team you build, you can control this fully. If you've got one NWO Allegiance member in the team or one NWO Allegiance member alive, they will instantly get their rush. So it's kind of like he's kind of like fake command, where he's just going to be boosting someone else's potential to rush for free, and they'll still get the next turn as well, where they can still take a turn rather than losing a turn like they do with command. So very interesting rush indeed. Let's check it out. Now, before I roll this clip, you can see that the characters around Trader are all NWO members, so it could potentially give AP to any of these characters. However, the way AP gain works on rushes like this, when it gives someone AP, it goes to the person with the highest AP already, and that is going to be Titan. Very nice character to have AP, because I will be able to give him a rush by rushing with Trader. Now, obviously, if it was the Gentleman, it would be the Gentleman who got it. If it was Raulito would get it, so on and so forth. It would be whoever has the highest current AP out of an NWO teammate that is alive. So if we just roll the clip, you can see that the rush comes in. It does obviously do line damage to the bottom line. We will obviously have damage blocked by Guardian Shields. That's kind of how it works. But there will be the impair and daze come in afterwards, and the 100% AP going to that character that we saw before. And if you have seen some of Titan's kit already, you know that's going to be very nice indeed. So we'll look at the upgrades on the Adrenaline Rush, and we can see that at grade 3 it gets a 200% boost, so it goes from 200% up to 400%. At grade 4, the upgrade is it affects a line, and that's actually a massive upgrade, but that should be pretty easy to upgrade a character to grade 4, because you only need one of Trader to get the character to grade 4. At grade 5, you get an extra 25% AP, so it goes from 25% up to 50%. And at Limit Break 3, you get the big boost from 50% up to 100% total AP. So it's a guaranteed Adrenaline Rush being available for any NWO member once the Trader rushes. And I think this is obviously where a lot of the power comes in. 50% is still going to be okay. So I think by grade 5, you're still going to have reasonable power. In the clip I showed before, it wouldn't have been enough for that team, because obviously the highest AP I saw there was 31 out of 66, and obviously 50% would be 33, so it wouldn't be able to get the character up to Adrenaline Rush there. So if you want the guarantees, you're going to have to go to LB3, but if you're going for Titan anyway, you're probably going for LB3 already. So I think the 400% is okay. I think obviously fully controlling that line if you don't take them out is nice, but the 100% AP is obviously where this is nuts. This is going to be really good. You obviously have to team Trader up with a New World Order Allegiance member to get this to actually happen, but there are some very nice damage dealers within New World Order, so the sort of potential you can get from this is great. And let's just say, for whatever reason, your team was just struggling a little bit on an attack team, and it was just Trader and Raulito together. Trader would be able to give Raulito that rush, and that Raulito's rush is reviving characters, so would be able to pick up multiple characters. And, you know, regardless of how it works, regardless of what character gets this, it's generally going to be beneficial. So I think this is obviously great. Now, of course, the Trader has a signature move, and it is called Eternal Suppression. It has got an initial cooldown of turn 1, cooldown of 3 turns, number of uses unlimited. And of course, the Trader being the Trader, there has to be something just nuts in his kit as well. Confuse a single enemy for the rest of combat. Now, this happens off of turn 1. And then it will happen again turn 3, and then so on and so forth. And potentially you could, you know, have a single enemy confused for the rest of combat, you know, 2 or 3 of them, if you so wish, depending on the kind of game mode you're going into. Conquest, you're going into maybe Challenge Run. That's going to be really useful, honestly, in Challenge Run and Conquest in particular. In Raids, it's still going to be very useful, but it's most likely only going to be maybe 2 characters that you really are going to get this to work against, because by the time the 4th or 5th turn comes around, you generally want to be winning by then. But that is hard controlled. That has to be cleansed. There's not much else you can do there. That has to be cleansed, and there's not many characters that have cleanses of Confuse right now. I think one of the few that I remember is Jackie, and she's not really going to be used on defense teams. So that is obviously very nice. There is, of course, William, who does cleanse other people, so that there is the chance that that can come in. So you have to be aware of the potential there, but generally speaking, confusing an enemy for 1, 2, 3 turns is still pretty good. The rest of combat, yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be complaining here. Okay, so here we have another clip, and it is going to be the Trader against Mr. Lu. This is some Nemesis battle from the S-Class era for sure. And I guess the Trader's going to be pretty annoyed because he's stolen some of his kit. We're going to be using the signature move on Mr. Lu here. Now, Mr. Lu does have a very good specialist skill where he can resist pretty much everything in the game at 50%, you know, guaranteed. If you have a mod with it, it will go up to 100%, so he can get immunity to anything he wants. So if I put a confuse resist on this guy, he would not be able to get confused, generally speaking. But because the Trader here is actually a precision character, because he's a controller, he will reduce any of the resists of any defense team character he attacks, any defense team character he uses any sort of control against, and that means he has a higher chance of actually hitting it, even against someone like Mr. Lu, who generally speaking is very hard to control. So if we just roll the clip, you can see that Mr. Lu does indeed get controlled, and he will be out for the rest of the fight, which is extremely powerful against someone like Mr. Lu, just because it's very hard to control him. So if you can get that signature move onto Mr. Lu, the confuse for the rest of the battle, well, it's going to make things a lot easier. It's not going to suppress any of Mr. Lu's like passives or anything, but it will stop him from going crazy on those taunt loops, which he can definitely get into. Now, if we look at the upgrades on this signature move, we can see at grade 2, it gets -1 to starting cooldown, so it goes from a 3-turn starting cooldown down to a 2-turn starting cooldown. At limit break 1, it gets another reduction to starting cooldown, so it goes to a 1st turn initial cooldown, which is where it's going to be extremely powerful. And then at limit break 2, you're going to get -1 to cooldown, so it goes from cooldown of 4 turns down to cooldown of 3 turns. In this signature move, I would definitely say you want to get that to a 1st turn. That is just going to be crazy to get off 1st turn. Obviously, you can just long press anyone on a defense team, on a raid team. If they don't have any resists to confuse, it's a guaranteed hit if you are attacking. You just got to be careful who you attack, basically. The only sneaky guy, like I said, is going to be Mr. Lu, but it can be definitely worth the risk, because if he hasn't got any mods on him, the trader will reduce his resistance chance on his specialist skill down to 10%, because he'll have a 40% reduction. It's a flat reduction on resists, and if he does have 100% resist, because he has a mod and it stacks with that specialist skill, he'll reduce it down to 60%. Still potentially worth the risk. It depends how much trouble you're having with a particular Mr. Lu's. So obviously this signature move is crazy. It does only confuse one, and the cooldown is not like super quick, but basically you can choose someone on the defense team who is a problem for you and just take them out, and should prove extremely useful against these more controlling defense teams, because you're just going to be stopping them from having chance of controlling you. Now the trader obviously is going to have some mythic abilities. These are his passive skills. Talking of precision, that is of course going to be the first one. Enemy resistances are 40% lower against his character. It's going to be very, very useful with that signature move. The first special one to the trader himself is going to be private healthcare. At the start of each wave, up to 3 teammates get 100% infection resistance for the first 2 turns of combat. This is going to be very useful against particular defensive characters that are around right now. Mr. Lu, for instance, pops off that signature move turn 1, and that is 100% infection, I think, at LB3. Obviously, he could potentially still target someone that isn't getting the 100% resistance, but if he does, that's a guaranteed resist, so that's very nice indeed. The trader's next passive is called Stunning Capital. At the start of each turn, 60% chance to stun a single enemy for 1 turn. What is great about this, again, is it will obviously interlock with precision. So if someone does have 100% stun resistance, and there are characters out there that do that right now. Marcus, for instance, has 100% stun resist to all teammates, but he'll reduce the stun resist by 40% and actually have a chance to bypass that effective immunity. So that's going to be really nice. It's just going to randomly occur at the beginning of each turn. A 1-turn stun is a hard control. The 3rd slot on the weapon will not work. So the trader basically comes in as sort of a disarm if that does proc as well. So he's actually having some nice little secondary specialist skills coming here, where he's got like a bit more command style within his rush, a bit of disarm style within his passives. Now his final passive is called Passive Income. Whenever an enemy dies with a debilitating status, this character gets 100% AP. Debilitating statuses are things that control whether you can do things like rush, use a specialist skill, signature move, you know, that sort of thing. It isn't things about like reducing your attack damage or reducing your defense, but they are everywhere. So generally speaking, most people are going to get taken out and they're going to have a debilitating status on them. And that does, of course, mean the trader is going to get that pop of his adrenaline rush. And it could potentially happen on turn 1. You know, you could potentially try and line it up where you take out a character turn 1 and you have controlled them, let's say with an impair or a stun on attack weapon or something. And then trader's going to get his rush turn 2. And then when he rushes turn 2, an NWO member is going to get their rush as well turn 2. So it could really, really just be like a snowball effect when it comes to this particular passive. Okay, so we're just going to roll this clip. We're going to go back to that immortal battle, the never-ending battle between Trader and Mr. Lu, and you can see that off turn 1, the Trader will hit the stun onto Mr. Lu. It will be completely random which character obviously gets stunned on a defense team, but as there's only one character effectively alive, it will be that one character. You can also see that 100% infection resist, and just keep an eye on this because you'll see the clip roll on where Mr. Lu will use his infection off of his signature move and it will get absolutely just blocked, which is fantastic, of course. Whenever you attack a character that is stunned, their slot 3 will not proc anymore, so that's obviously great. So you're going to be able to bypass things like absolute defense, you're going to be able to bypass things like imperial defense, and this is very, very useful. Now, I know what people are going to ask when it comes to the AP gain side of things. Can the trader give himself 100% AP if he takes someone down with his own rush? And the answer is yes. If we just roll this clip, what you're going to see is you're going to see trader rush somebody who has already got a debilitating status on them, and then he gets 100% AP and could potentially rush the next turn or be commanded that turn to rush again. And in certain scenarios, that means that 2 other NWO characters could get their rush that turn because of how his Adrenaline Rush works, where he gives 100% AP to NWO members. The potential of his AP gain within his passives and his AP gain on his rush, working with other NWO members, is going to be a lot of fun on attack teams, I feel. So we'll go straight to the upgrades on this passive, and you can see that at grade 1 you get the first half of private healthcare. That is the teammates getting 50% infection resist. At grade 2 you're going to get the first half of precision, which is going to be 20% lower resistances against this character. Grade 3 you're going to get the second half of private healthcare, so you're going to get that 100% infection resist nice and early. Stunning capital first half comes in at grade 4, where you have a 20% chance to stun a single enemy for 1 turn, and this is going to happen at the beginning of every turn, not just a wave, every single turn. Then at grade 5 you do have the first half of passive income coming in, so if you do get 2 of these characters, you'll be able to get quite a lot of the power here. Whenever an enemy dies with a debilitating status, this enemy gets 50% AP, and that is still going to be quite a nice boost, and some of the time that might even get him his rush. Precision 2 is going to come in at limit break 1. Stunning capital 2 will just push that stun chance up to 60% at limit break 2. And at limit break 3, passive income 2 comes in, and that's going to stack, so it'll be 100% AP to this character when any enemy dies by his hands or someone else's, and it's going to be 100% AP, like I said. And like I said, the roll-on effect on that is going to be awesome. So yeah, I like that potential a lot, and I think that's going to be pretty fun, especially if you line it up correctly. You know, like I say, potentially, if it happens really early, you could get a first turn rush on 2 characters. You know, if you manage to take out someone with 3 attacks on the first turn, and the trader will get his rush, the trader rushes, and the last character who hasn't done a single attack yet is an NWO member, and you've got no other NWO members in the team, he will get that 100% AP even though he has the lowest AP, and that'll be another turn 1 rush. There is some really sneaky potential on this particular passive here. Now, as we've seen, the trader is an actual leader, and he has got a allegiance buff as well. If we look, all New World Order teammates get 50% attack, all other teammates get 30% attack. So it's pretty straightforward. He's just going to be boosting the attack of anyone in his team, but if they're New World Order, they're going to get a 50% attack boost. This is going to massively benefit using allegiance-based teams, and this is something that I kind of wish that would been on instantly earlier in the game, in the Mythic era, just being able to build allegiance-based squads, and it would have been really cool. I think that would have been really cool, but we're getting it now, and the allegiance-based teams are going to start coming in. Potentially we might see this in the future with other teams. We'll have to wait and see for other allegiances, but we're definitely getting it here with the New World Order. It does look like the New World Order is a very offensive team, and 50% attack is going to boost the attack nice and high for sure. I'm definitely liking the potential of that with the damage dealers in the New World Order lineup. You know, so far we know that's going to be the Gentleman and Titan. Those characters do get massive amplification from, you know, getting their attack boosted, and like I say, 50% attack, that's nuts. And lastly, of course, the trader does of course have an attached weapon, and it is the trader's Savage Simple Hand Grenade Launcher, and it is a grenade launcher. I thought it was a shotgun. It was very hard to tell in that initial art. I think if you look at his art on the left hand side, that definitely looks like a shotgun, but apparently it's a grenade launcher. I'm not sure which one I'd prefer to face. I don't know. It's quite a basic weapon, but it is very good. I built this weapon myself. It's 35% attack, a huge bonus to AP when attacking. Bonus AP and attack, you receive 20% attack for 2 turns at the beginning of each wave, and you also get 20% AP to self at the beginning of each wave. And it also gives 15, 35, and this is very important for attack leaders. So this is a really nice standard weapon. You're going to be able to get up to 50% attack. That means you're getting nice amounts of attack out. You're also getting your AP in time, and you are going to get a little bit of a boost off of the early turns if there are no other attack boosts coming in. 20% attack to self and 20% AP to self. That does mean you're going to get your rush just a little bit faster. 66 AP needs some sort of AP boost to get their rush on turn 3, guaranteed. Obviously the trader does have that passive that is looking very, very powerful, but if he doesn't have any characters get dropped on a defense team with debilitating statuses, at least he knows he can get it by turn 3 as long as he doesn't get controlled. So this was Gold Mythic the Trader, and he is looking extremely interesting. Some parts of his kit are very, very powerful, and some parts of his kit have such high potential if used correctly. One of those passives, you know, the AP gain on his passive linked with the AP gain on his rush, it could really be really fun, honestly. I'm thinking of every game mode almost here. I'm thinking about Conquest, Challenge Run, Raids, War. You know, you're going to be able to get this off and boost someone up really nice and quick. So, yeah, rushes galore, basically. Rushes galore. But do tell me what you think about Gold Mythic the Trader. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. That is the end of my video. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.